Right, great. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Zoom session. Today is the 30th of April, 2022. In KZN, South Africa, it's a bright, sunny day. Anybody would like to unmute and greet us? Welcome. Samuel, have you sorted out your...
Good day. Yes, I have. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Samuel. How are you?
Good and you.
Where are you calling us from, Samuel?
Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal. Yeah.
Oh, great. Samuel, while I got you online, I hope you don't mind, I'm recording you. Just to quickly ask you stuff. Have you sorted out your assignment 1?
Yes, I have. Thank you very much.
And you've submitted?
Yes, I've submitted it.
Excellent. Have you started with assignment 2?
I have.
Great. And how far have you got with assignment 2?
So far I've been struggling with the getting the data into the struct.
Okay.
So once the user puts in input, so I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
So I'm still on lesson 29. So I still need to do lesson 29 properly. Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, it's going well.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that you are working on it. And I'm so happy that you mentioned something about a struct, because you're going to need a struct for the assignment question on the flight booking system. Because you will notice, Samuel, is that you have different fields that you will need to store your data. Okay?
Yes.
So I'll talk a little bit about that, but I don't do assignment questions. Okay? I don't do this.
Okay. No problem.
Great. Listen, Samuel, if you want to stay on, by all means stay on, but you've completed assignment 1. There may be some students that will require assistance with assignment 1, and I may be answering those questions. So feel free to log off whenever you want to.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Anybody else would like to unmute and just tell us where they're from, whether they've completed assignment 1, and how far they are in assignment 2? Hello, anybody? I can see Ryan Harper.
Hello.
Hello.
It's Tintola here.
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and we really appreciate you availing yourself. It's Tintola.
You're more than welcome.
This is Tintola.
Tintola.
Thank you. This is Tintola. I have completed and submitted assignment 1.
Excellent.
I'm doing my course is I've got a stats and applied maths major, but I included a course just to also, get some knowledge there. And I'm looking at doing it second year as well, because there is a second year part to help us, I think, with numerical methods, because I'm majoring in applied maths as well. So yeah, I have completed assignment 1. And it was pretty doable, if I can say. Assignment 2, I haven't started, so I must confess, but I will start on it soon.
Okay, great. You have to start with assignment 2. You cannot leave it for the last minute, right? And just as I spoke to the previous student, Samuel, he had mentioned that he has to use a struct. And he said he went right until lesson 29. So in order for you to answer assignment 2, you have to do lots and lots of lessons and lots of solutions, right, to the exercises. So that will be my advice to you. So thank you very much for that, Tinswalo. Where are you calling us from, Tinswalo? Where are you logging into?
I'm from Pretoria. I'm in Pretoria.
Okay. So I'm going around the country today. Richards Bay, Pretoria. Anybody else would like to share where they are from, whether they've completed assignment 1? And the status of assignment 2. Hello, anybody else? Zane's iPhone.
How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. And now that you are talking to me, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm still busy with some of the modules, some of the lessons to be able to complete assignment 2, sir. But I have started. I'm sort of trying to build it step by step as I go along. But I'm finding the idea of the functions and arrays a bit difficult. Trying to figure out exactly how to structure it. I've just been using a lot of void functions and overloading the functions, which I'm not exactly sure is the best idea or best way to solve the problem.
Okay. All right. So I hear you, and I'm going to help you along with assignment 2, the flight booking system. But again, I confess I do not give you answers, but if you pay careful attention to the strategy, that can assist you with flight booking system. Now, one of the strategies that I employ to teach you guys is that, you have to work on the assignments to get to your DP mark for the examination, basically. And if you don't do the assignments, you're not going to cover the work. If you don't cover the work, you're not going to learn anything, and you're not going to make it to pass this exam. And if you haven't completed assignment 1, there's no way in my opinion that you can tackle assignment 2. So very quickly and very quickly, yes. Is there anybody out here that wants me to cover any part of assignment 1? No.
Yes.
Yes. Anybody out there? Is it Zain?
Yes, me.
Hello?
Morning. So yeah, the problem that I had with assignment 1 was question 10, like how do you do the variable diagram?
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Right, anybody else? Right, so let me very quickly go over assignment 1, question 10, and then I will start with assignment 2, and I'll give you a strategy of how to tackle the assignment. All right, so I'm going to access my shared screen, and I'm showing you the resources that I use. So let me do a new share, and right, so here's my C++ resources. Was that Zain? Zain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Did you ask the question about assignment 1 as well?
No, already done with assignment 1, sir.
Okay, great.
I just asked about assignment 2.
Okay, great. Who asked about assignment 1? Question 10?
It was me, sir.
Name?
Manla.
Manla. Manla, are you able to view my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Can you see on the top, it says assignment 1, question 10, tracing variable diagrams?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Now, if you click on this link, I'm going to share this. I'm going to click on that link, and you watch my little video of, it's about 4 minutes. And if you look at last week's Zoom session, I actually answered this question. Okay. So I'm going to post that in the chat for you. So this is, and I'm going to show you where's my Zoom sessions from last week. So you can watch exactly how we answered assignment 1, question 10. Let me just go to my YouTube channel. Manla, I'm just following the links to YouTube. If I go to, you search for me on YouTube, it's Prinavin Governor. I'll give you the links as well. My channel, my playlist, and you look for course 1511 C++, right? And after this, I will post, there we go, C++ videos. And if you watch last week's Zoom session, I assume you didn't attend last week's Zoom session. Last week was the 23rd.
No, I'll add something.
All right, so if you look at it, it says assignment 1, variable diagram, trace table, and while loop and the running sum. Manla, would you do that for me, please? And I promise you, I explain all of that in terms of how you'd answer the variable diagram for question 10. Okay, Manla?
Okay, so I'll go watch it after this.
All right, and if you're still having difficulties, you can email me or contact me, and we'll have the session and we'll explain that. Right. So that'll sort you out for assignment 10. Now let's tackle the strategy of tackling this assignment 2. Firstly, let's go and read the assignment question and let's see what is it that they want from us. Right, so let me go to my assignment 2. And this is very, very important when you are doing programming. You need to find out what the user expects from you. Okay, so let's look at the question. I'm just going to open up the question, and it says assignment. Let's go to details. Assignment 2. Right. Now, clue whenever you are working with any assignment or any project is to find out what is expected of you in terms of the output. So if I look at the output that they're requesting out here is, it says, I'm skipping all of that. It says, welcome to COS 1511 flight booking system. Enter full name, Hannah George. So this will give you a clue as to what you need to have in your output statement, right? What needs to be displayed on screen. So I'm going to look at my code blocks. Believe it or not, I have the question, and let me just run the question. So if you look on the top, it says, welcome to COS 1511 flight booking system. Enter your full name. Are you able to see my screen? I should be logging onto my Zoom. I have 2 laptops available so that it kind of assists me to see what you guys are seeing. Let me log in then, join. All right, so this statement is a very easy statement. Welcome to COS 1511 flight booking system. Enter full name. It's a see out statement and a question. So let me put in my name, Prinavin Govender. Now it gives me another output. It says the available times for the flights are depart, arrive, and it gives me options 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it says choose the time from 1 through 5. Now, I got this from the question. Here's the question. Let's go back to the question. And the question says, welcome to COS 1511 flight booking system. Enter your full name. The available travel times for the flights are depart at 7 o'clock, arrive at 9:30, 2, 9. Now, when you look at a question like this, because you have done the lessons from your study guide, you will realize that they want you to make a choice. And they are telling you that you must choose either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And they are also telling you that if you do not select any of those options, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, then you must display an error message. And the error message must state something like, incorrect option, please select 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, this will give you an idea that you got to continuously run this program until the person selects 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. My question to you, now that you have completed assignment 1 and you have done quite a few of the lessons, if I am doing something over and over and over until I select something, what programming structure will I use? Feel free, raise your hand.
We're using a while loop, sir.
Thank you. Who was that? Ryan.
Fine, sir.
Zain. Okay, Zain, tell me, why do you think that we need to use a while loop?
Well, at first I thought a switch statement would work, sir, but then I thought the while loop, they said in the textbook that you use a while loop when you aren't sure how many times the program has to repeat beforehand. Where a do while is if it has to output at least one value, and a for loop is if you know exactly how many times a program has to repeat.
Great, great. So you pointed out the features of the loop. So we've established that we have to do it more than once. And in programming, that's a looping structure. Now, I've been in programming from 1986, and I've been using loops in one way or the other. The other type of loop that we get is a for loop, and that's if we knew that we had to run it 10 times. But as our student quite correctly pointed out, we do not know. So the person could get it right on the first try, or the person could get it right on the second try. We just don't know. And that's why we've got to consider using a loop. Now, you also mentioned a very important point. You said you need to use either one, you need to have a switch statement. Talk to me, what is the switch statement that you were talking about?
Well, so the switch statement is just basically running through a bunch of different cases and evaluating them for either being true or false. And the switch statement will run through the entire body of the statement until one of the cases are true, where then it will break out of it and continue with the rest of the program.
Great, great. I'm so happy you give me answers like this, because this is part of the solution. Again, not that I work on a solution or anything like that. I'm just here helping you out, right? So you need to go and make a choice. And when you need to make a choice from 4 or 5 options, you could have used the if then else, if then else, if then else. But sometimes it's simply nice to use a switch statement. A switch statement basically takes a number of if statements, puts them all together, and makes it look quite pretty to see what's going on, right? So I'm giving you another clue. If I look at initially, I said, welcome to course 1511. That's a C out statement. Enter full name, that's a C out statement. What's your name is C in, and this displayed all of that, right? Now you mentioned something else about functions. What did you tell me about that in terms of a function?
About the use of a function, sir?
Yes,
or
yes. Anything. You said this assignment, you're giving us some clues now. You're telling me that you were considering a function. What is a function?
Well, sir, when it comes to functions, my logic behind this would be that I would have to use a void function, because a void function doesn't really return anything specific. It only does what is stated within the body of that function. And this is the menu for the different flight times. So I'd assume I'd have to use a void or create a void function to display this menu, and from there use the switch statement to verify the input of the user, because I thought about using nested if-else statements first, but because they all depend on an integer value being input, I thought the switch statement might be better, because then it makes it possible to use the switch.
I like that. I like how you are answering my question, and the use of the words nested if, switch, and a void function. So you are right. A void function is actually a non-returning value function. So I'm not giving you an answer like a value, an integer, or a float that's coming out of that function. And generally, we use a void function when I want to display a menu. Or, like I said, I'm not giving out anything. It's the last function in the program that's running. So here's another clue that we've given for this assignment too, that we need to consider the use of functions. Just to add on to what you mentioned about a function makes our life a lot easier in terms of looking at the program and breaking up the program and the question into manageable sections. So when you look at the way I or any other program would structure the solution, they will always consider using functions because it becomes manageable. Or another word we call it is, procedures. So you need to have one function basically to request from the user their name, and maybe you'd want to consider displaying the flight times in that. Again, solutions will differ. It will not be my solution would look different to your solution, to student 5 or Ryan or Zane or whoever, right? But the important thing is that the output, what I expect coming out of the program, should be the same for all of us. That's what a programmer's life is all to do, right? So in this case, I'm going to say the available times for the flights are, and I'm going to select 1, right? And immediately where you asking for a selection to take place, that's where you can use the switch statement. Like I said, the switch is nice and easy and looks pretty cool, if I say cool in a nice way, than having a number of if else, if else, if else. You can get away with it, but again, it's my personal preference. So when I selected number 1, I like to travel early in the morning because I just like it, right? It has to display my name. It has to display the travel ticket. And right now I haven't seat number. So I simply went on a mission to generate output where I wanted the program to display where I'm leaving from, Johannesburg, and where I'm arriving at. My destination is Cape Town, and 7 to 9:30. So can you see it picked it up from here, option number 1. And it did not generate the amount. I still have to work on that in my solution. But as it stands, from what I have on screen, these are simply, this is the void function out here. And I want to also show you the validation that takes place. When I say validation, I mean, what would happen if a person hit 7, 8, or 9, right? So let me go and run this program. I'm going to open up my code blocks. Let's run the program. And again, enter my full name, Prinavin Governor. By now, you should know my name. And the available times are. So I'm going to enter in 7. It says incorrect option. Please choose from 1 to 5. Just like my student mentioned, Ryan said, he doesn't know how many times I'm going to enter it in. And that would give you a clue that this is a loop. It's repeating itself over and over and over. Do I have a question? Anyone with a question?
So when you're outputting the name that the program wants from the user,
Yes.
are you going to include that inside of a function, or is that just going to be inside of the main function actually?
Okay, it all depends on you as a programmer. Now, if you are going to display the name in the main program, when you talk main program, it's the main man, the main function, then you don't need to pass it across in terms of parameters as in transferring it from the main to the function. If, however, you have a function that only requests the full name, then you will have to transfer it across as a parameter. Does that answer your question?
It does, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, just please identify yourself whenever you come on, because I don't see you guys, and your screen, your videos are not on. All right, so thank you very much for that question. That was an excellent question. And again, it all depends on the way you structure your program. I would suggest you have a function and transfer the name across as a parameter. In that way, you keep your programming very modular. So one function does one thing, and you can ask someone else to work on, not that you should, but if you're in the programming environment, one function will be written by a few programmers, another function by another programmer. And if you tend to keep everything in the main program, then you got to constantly go and check what's going on in the main program. Whereas if you have modular structures like having functions, then you keep the unit intact and independent. That was a lovely question. Next question. Hello.
So it's
Yes.
it's still Zane speaking, sir.
Zane, go ahead, Zane.
I am currently busy with the seating arrangements.
Yes.
For the flight. I want to see if I can figure that out. So then, could we maybe talk about that the next Zoom session we have, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
I figured out how to create a similar program that validates an input from the user and then obviously reserves the seats. But I'm just struggling a bit with the layouts in terms of how to actually get it to look the way they want it to. So I want to see if I can figure that out and then maybe just run through my thought process with you, sir.
Sure. Right. Now, again, if you look at the question, that will give you an idea of how and what you should display your seating arrangement. So that's in the second option. Look at here, it says, if the user enters a valid option, the seating arrangement for that particular flight should be displayed. So here's my seating arrangement. A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. So I'm talking in another way. It's row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, column 3, row 1, column 4, row 1, column 5, row 1, column 6. Zane, you getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
Row 2,
so
column 1, row 2, column 2.
Easier using arrays to display it, sir.
Aha, you used another big word, arrays. Ryan, let me ask other participants. Anybody knows what an array is? Ryan mentioned the word.
Yes.
Yes, who am I talking to?
So Samuel.
Samuel, go ahead, Samuel.
So
go ahead, Samuel. Hello, Samuel.
specific indexes in a list. Now, if you're using a one-dimensional array, it's a list basically with one row and then n columns. And if you're using two-dimensional array, obviously we'll be able to store many rows and many columns. Again, if you're working with one and two-dimensional arrays, it has to be same data type and belonging to the same group of things, if I can say it like that. Yeah.
So you've given me the definition of an array. An array, starting out, it's a data structure.
Yes.
And all of the elements are the same. So we like to use a nice big word, and the big word we talk about is homogeneous, right? So all of them are the same. In this case, they may be integer values, or they may be float values, right? And you access the array by means of its index. So I want to access row 5, column 2, it would be 5, 2. And you mentioned another important point, Samuel, that it is one-dimensional and it's two-dimensional. But the way I've spoken to you, it should give you an idea of what should be expected. So thank you very much for that, right? Thank you very much for that point. Again, I want you to note that you need to struggle a little. You need to read the question. You need to go through all your lessons. And there may be some of you who haven't started assignment 2, and you'll realize, hey, I'm listening to Prinavin talk, and I'm listening to Samuel and Zane, and they are talking about stuff that I haven't heard of. So I would suggest that you go through these lessons. We've given you some hints. We told you that you need a while loop, that you need to validate the values coming out of the loop. And I've showed you and I've displayed, and I've also pointed out to you that the way the seats are arranged, you need to go and check what data structure you need to look at. So if I look at the output again in the question, it says the available seats for 7 o'clock are as follows. So the way the seats are booked, you need to obviously book a ticket for the seat that's available for you. Now this will continue into the next one, right? In terms of the function or procedure that you want to look at. And ultimately, this is what you expect from your output. So in my instance, I've only shown you the name, the ticket. I haven't booked the seat as yet, and I haven't paid the amount, but I have displayed the output in terms of what is expected. And the way I've written this program, it's modular design. So again, it was Zane that mentioned functions. You have to include functions in your program. All right, so at this point, do I have any questions in terms of understanding the concepts included in this program? Or what is it that the lecturer was trying to get from you? Any questions? Do you understand what is required from you as a programmer?
Yes, I think I have a better idea of how to approach the problem now, sir.
Oh, I'm glad. Is that Zane?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I'm so happy, Zane, that you mentioned this, right? And that's very, very important as a programmer. And I'm not just talking to you about this assignment, but I'm also talking to you in terms of programming in general. Very often, a program application will fail because we don't get to grasp what the user wants from us. So let's say, for instance, in this example, Zane was working on the flight booking system, and he decided that instead of economy class, he's going to have business class, or instead of business class, he's going to put in the times that are, instead of 7 o'clock, he said no, he wants the people to come in a little earlier at 6 o'clock. And if you don't get the user buy-in, the user requirements, and then you as a programmer will not be answering the question, you'll not be getting paid from this work, and well, whatever it is. So very, very important. These are your user requirements. Now, this question is pretty long, pretty long. And if I look at last year's examination question, I don't think they had something like this, right? And that's what should be playing in the back of your mind, that examination that you're going to be writing at the end of this year. A question like this would require you to work on it for, days, weeks on end. In the exam, you don't have weeks and days and months to work on this. Neither do you have your assistance from your study guide. So in my experience, and I've been tutoring COS 1511 for a number of years, and I'm going to go out on the limb and say, listen, a question like this will not appear in the examination. If you want to find out what appears in the examination, you should be looking at last year's exam. A question to you, have you seen last year's examination paper?
Is it the one you shared a couple of weeks back, sir?
Yes, the October, November 2021. Have you seen it, Zane?
I have, sir. I did browse through it and give it a look a bit to see more or less in terms of what I actually have to commit to memory and sort of try to figure out a way of thinking.
Yeah. So, Zane, now that keep your mic unmuted, in October 2021, did a question, was it as in-depth as your flight example or flight booking system?
No, not at all, sir. Assignment to the flight booking system is like, I'm sure if you're able to answer this question and understand what you did, you will definitely be able to pass the exam.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. So you need to work on this assignment in terms of grasping all the concepts we mentioned. And you mentioned lots of concepts today. So if you mentioned something about a while loop and you don't know what's going on in a while loop, your strategy to tackle this would be go and learn the lesson, go and check on that lesson on the while loop. If I mention something like an array and you want to know what's going on in the array, a good idea would be to look at that one. Now that you mentioned October, November 2021, I'm just going to go to that examination paper. And the reason I want to go to that is to show you that that'll give you an idea of what you can expect in the exam. And the way last year's examination paper was set, they asked you, when I say sub-questions, question 1, question 2, question 3, and I'd like you to keep that in mind. By the way, if you want more examination papers, I have right until 2006, but that's going way back, right?
So can I ask maybe
Sure.
if you could somewhere share them for us? So maybe an extra 4 or 5 exams, because I'd like to work through at least 4, but preferably 7 exams before we write the final one.
Yes, I will do that for you. I will do that. But like I said, how do you eat a sandwich or a hamburger or a pizza, Zain? Zain?
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
no, question is, how would you eat a pizza?
How would I eat a pizza? One slice at a time, sir.
Thank you very much. You said it, not me. So how would you tackle this thing? One exam paper at a time, right?
At a time, yeah.
Yeah, right. So right now you guys are not ready for an examination paper to answer a past year paper. You could answer a few questions, but don't tackle the whole thing, right? So if you look at last year's paper, there I've got 2 right now. I've got October, November 2021, and I've got 2014 exam paper. When it says 6, that means it was the first semester, and E1. And I've got, so let's just look at that very quickly. Zain, are you able to see my screen with last year's paper?
I can, sir.
Right, so let's look at question 1. Question 1 is worth 2 marks. Question 1.2, 2 marks. So there's question 1.3 is 2 marks. So why I'm showing this to you is one of the questions was, this flight booking system is pretty intensive. Your past year examination papers were broken into sub-questions as such. So if you look at question 2, again, 4 marks. They didn't ask you an in-depth question like the flight booking system. Question 3, consider the following segment of code, and they asked you to draw a variable diagram. Samuel, you asked me question 10, assignment 1. There we go. Variable diagram appears. And I promise you, Samuel, I will take a bet with you. Variable diagrams must come out in 2022 examination paper. Zain, you want to take a bet with me, Zain?
Yes, sir.
What's the
Definitely.
bet? What's the bet?
They will definitely ask us about variable diagrams.
Yeah. Zain, I'm so confident, Zain. If it does not appear, I will refund you your complete UNISA tutorial fees.
I will take that bet, sir.
And what do I get in, Zain? Doesn't matter, That's how confident I am, right? I know it's coming. Let's look at question 4 over here. Here you go. Can you see how the examiner wanted you to answer part marks in the paper? And it says declare a variable, write statements to input, write statements to calculate and display the amount of money. So I'm pointing this out to you in that the flight booking question from assignment 2, and again, I have the experience to back it up. It's pretty intensive. If they are to have that question in the examination, then they can't ask you 5 marks, 4 marks, 2 marks question, and it'll be difficult for them to mark the examination paper. This is just the way I look at programming. They would want to declare the following variables for you, because Zain, you can have NR wheels as an integer values. Samuel, you can have NUM wheels as an integer variable. Right, Samuel? Zain?
Yes.
You get it. So if you look at this examination paper, this gives you a nice indication of how and what you can expect in 2022. Here's this while loop that Zain was talking about. While num is less than 4, I guarantee you need to use the while loop in this assignment question. You have to use it, because when I ran the program, you'll notice that I deliberately entered the incorrect value. And the only way you can do that is if you have a loop. I shouldn't be telling you which loop to use. Okay, there's 3 loops, the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop, and so forth, right? Let's look at the next one. Again, while loop, can you see it's 2 marks? They want you to determine the error. Question 7, it's a program, but not as intensive as flight booking system. Question 8, 8 marks. They talk about a function. And I think Zane mentioned that you have to use a function. Question 9, look at this. They talk about a bookstore and they talk about the input value, the week 1 book, and they even give you an idea that this is a 2-dimensional array. There's your data structure. Samuel, you spoke to me about a data structure, right, Samuel?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Great, great, great. Look at that. You could answer this question if you know how to work with arrays. And this part, question 10, a struct. Consider the following struct definition. Now, Zane mentioned to me that he is considering to use a struct. Zane, you want to talk to me about a struct?
I don't think it was me that mentioned that I wanted to use a struct, sir.
Okay.
Because I haven't done structs yet.
Okay, okay. One of the students today, but let's just talk about a struct. A struct is also a data structure, but whereas in an array, all the elements of the array are the same, in a struct, I'm going to have fields. So name, weight, price, these are fields, and each one has a particular data type associated. So name would be string, weight is float, price is float. I could have had an integer. And all of them put together, I could have had an array of structs. Now, some students may think, hey, why am I talking to you about this? When you are working through the assignment 2 and the flight booking system, you may want to consider using something like this. And the last, I think the last question is question 7, and they talk about strings. You've been using strings from the very first lesson. And look at this. Wow, they actually tell you these are some functions that you could use: find, void, erase, all string functions. And this was October 2021. So now that you have an idea of what the examination was in October and November of 2021, I suspect that this is what's going to happen in 2022. I'm not a gambling man, but I can take a bet that structs will appear, a 2-dimensional array will appear. I'm looking at a function will appear. I'm looking at determine the average number, average, maximum, minimum of things that appear. Calculating values will appear. And why I'm talking and telling you this is because I'm looking at assignment 1 and I'm looking at assignment 2 and what was expected of it. Okay, so if you are able to answer assignment 2 on your own, when I say you don't require the use of the study guide, or you don't require my assistance or any other friend's assistance, then you can tackle the examination paper. Does that motivate you to work on assignment 2, to complete it on your own? Samuel's got a thumbs up. Oh, see how nice it is when I have my second laptop available and I can see Samuel's thumbs up. Okay, great.
Most definitely, we are encouraged.
Is that Tinswalo?
Yes.
Yes, Tinswalo. Yeah. So what are you going to do for assignment 2 now, Tinswalo? Today.
I'm going to start right on it right away, but from what you were explaining and the interactions, yeah, it is doable.
Yes.
It is doable. It's not something that should scare us, but yeah, we just need to work hard at it. So I'm encouraged to start on it right away.
Great, great. And in the next hour, you must have the first statements done. Welcome to COS 1511 flight booking system. Enter your full name. That's what I want from you, right? And that's not difficult. It's doable without
You
even
are right.
asking the rest of the question.
Yeah, you are so right. I looked at it and I was like, but that looks familiar. It can be done right away.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to start. I'm going to help you a little bit, right? So open up console application, C++. I'm going to call this, let's give it a nice name, TINTSWALO. Haha, how's that? Swallow?
Yes, sir, that looks good. Thank you.
That looks good. Okay. So I open up the program and I'm saying to myself, hey, does this program work? There's it. It says hello world out there. Let me just build and run the program. And it's going build and run. Oh, yes, it works. Swallow's program works. All right. Now, if I look at the examination, the assignment question, the assignment question says, it says, let's look at the top. Let's look at it, go right on the top. It says, welcome to COS 1511 flight booking system. Enter full name. So immediately you can say, I'm going to take that out. Welcome to flight booking system. Swallow, do you think this program will run?
Yes, it will run, sir, definitely.
Why will it run?
Because it's just a see out statement. That's all. All you do is instruct the computer what to bring out as a statement. That's all.
Let's see if you're right. Hey, you're right. It says welcome to flight booking system. Look at that. And it's also, it'll run because I typed the program. It was a joke, Swallow.
Yes, I got that.
Okay. Right. The next one, it says enter in your name. So see out. And there's my insertion point, and it says, let's look at what does the question say? It says enter full name. So now I've got to put down enter full name, right?
Yes, and then immediately afterwards, you must instruct it to put in. So it must be CIN.
Yes.
And then right angled, yes, and then the name. But we must first now put in a variable. We must declare a variable now.
Okay.
And call it name.
All right. So what will name be?
It's a string, I think.
Well done. Well done. Now, Swallow, I can't help you out with assignment questions, right? I don't do those things. So I'm not going to go and put in all that, right? Shh. Maybe I'll stop recording and we'll talk after this, right? But anyway, you are on the right track. I'm so happy, right? So you can enter in your full name. Very good. So Swallow, you'll have the first part done. Then the next thing is, maybe you want to consider putting this, as Zain has mentioned, into a function, right? Because we don't want our main program to become long. This program is about 300 odd lines so far, right? And you want it to be modular. So maybe consider a function. Let's look at the next part where it says the available travel times are. Let's see if I could help you with that, right? So I'm going to...
So before you go, just to check. So that function, that output, the depart arrive, when I looked at it at first, I felt that we can also do it as a see out statement, but because I haven't yet reached arrays and functions, I mean, I haven't read most of the lessons to attempt assignment 2. I do understand now. It actually lets my, but from first view, I mean, I felt it was easy to just use it and on a see out function.
Yes. No, that's fine. But just look at this. Without even going through all the lessons in the study guide, you are able to start working on assignment 2. Well, either I'm a very good tutor, or you're a very good student, or a combination of the two, and And I'm pointing out to you how easy it is to start tackling this assignment
That's
question.
true.
Right.
That is so true to say.
So let's look at the next part. I'm going to help you, and then it says, see out the available times are, right? So without answering the entire question, you are able to gain some sense of confidence that I can tackle this with what I've learned from assignment 1. And I'm assuming that you've done assignment 1 properly, you understand all the concepts, you went through all the lessons in there. I think it was lessons 1 through 16. So this is my objective for this lesson, for today's one, where I wanted you to get the grasp of question flight booking system, assignment 2, and to point out to you some of the structures that you will use to answer the question. Okay, Tinswalo, I'm giving you quite a number of clues and tricks.
Yes, yeah. No, thank you so much for that. I already have a picture now in my mind.
Yes.
How to tackle it. Thank you.
No, lovely, lovely. Well, thank you very much for that, right? So this is just the tip of the iceberg. When I say tip of the iceberg, it's the tip of the iceberg. This question is pretty intensive, right? And you have to start and try and work with it. I also have some YouTube videos on this. Just Google on my site, which is flight booking system, and that will assist you. Thank you, Tinswalo. Anybody else with a question, a comment, or a query?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, Tinswalo. It's 12:51.
So just out of curiosity, may I ask what is expected of you at an advanced level of C++ programming? So seeing as all of this is still the introduction to it, because I've also registered for course 1512, and some of the stuff they use in there I find pretty advanced.
Yeah, that's pretty advanced, saying you're right, 1512. This is an introductory module. I think y'all are using the book by Savage, Walter Savage, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and it starts object-oriented programming from, I think, the first couple of lessons or so. So I would suggest, for students who are brand new to computer science and programming, that they tackle course 1511 first, and then they tackle 1512. But now that you mentioned that you registered for both, you are going to find that 1511 is so simple as compared to 1512. Am I right in my assumption?
Yes, sir. But that's what I'm asking, sir, because 1512 is also still an introductory module, according to NISA. So I'm just curious to know what do you work with at an advanced level? Where do you actually have to be able to call yourself a C++ programmer?
Okay, I get where you're coming from. Listen, it's like this. You did grade 12, and in grade 12, you would have still been using 1 + 1 = 2, correct?
Yes.
But you learned that in grade 1 or grade 2, maybe, right? So
yeah.
You can't really and truly consider it advanced at grade 12. You're saying, yes, I'm using 1 + 1 = 2. So the same thing happens with programming. In order for you to say I'm at an advanced level, maybe you'd want to consider that, hey, I'm able to use structs. And that would make me a little more advanced than me just telling you that I'm using a simple variable to enter values in. Okay, so that's the way I would want to answer your question. Structs would not be at basic lesson 1, lesson 2. You'd first have to learn what a variable is, because a struct considers it's a data structure that's made up of different fields, and different fields could have different values stored in there. So that's how I'd answer it. I'd also say that, listen, course 1512 would be a more advanced level, because 1512 is one more than 1511.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and the other point is, if you look at the course 211 or course 222, or that's a second level, sometimes they introduce you to a new programming language, and they assume that the level that you have done in first year, course 1511 or 1512, would give you a foundation basis for 50, 212 or 222 or something like that. So that's how I would answer your question in terms of what would be an advanced programming ability. But in terms of the way I teach programming, and I'm actually at a University of Technology, and when I do teach it, sometimes even though it may be a third-year student, but I'm still doing in my books an introductory level programming structure. All right. And again, it all depends on the program that you're using. If it's a GUI means graphical user interface program, or Visual Basic, or PHP or HTML, you could start from the very basics of printing hello world to going all the way to a database function, you know? So again, it's subjective in how you consider what is beginning, intermediary, advanced level, right? But keep at it, Zain. Consider 1511 to be more introductory than 1512. I will post, resources for Walter Savage, and or send me an email, and I could just assist you, because not everyone will be doing 1512. And I'm not the tutor for 1512. I'm the tutor for 1511.
Okay,
right.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? It's 5 to 1. I'd like to keep my Zoom sessions to 1 hour.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. I'm talking to Ramo.
Yes. I just wanted to find out something regarding the input statement, like the CN for the full name.
Yes.
Should we use CN or getLine actually?
Lovely question. Lovely question. And I hope everybody else is listening to what is getLine and what is CN. It's a good idea if you know how to use getLine to use getLine. That's what I would say. But now to go back to Zane's question, getLine would be considered more advanced than CN. How's that, Zane? I took Ramo's question and I joined it to your question. Yeah. If you can use getLine, please use getLine. Talk to me, Ramo.
All right, thank you.
Going to use getLine. By the way, Ramo, are you the WhatsApp student? Send me a WhatsApp.
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm so nice. I heard your voice. I saw your WhatsApp status. I think you're going shopping today, huh?
Yeah, we were just running some errands.
Oh, see, I'm strong.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ramo. Thank you. I hope you learned something from today's Zoom session.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. Are you working on completing assignment 2?
I'm actually just almost done, actually.
Excellent. Well done. And if you can just help us and help other students, just tell me, did you use an array?
I used a 2-dimensional array.
Don't tell them exactly what array, just say you use an array. You use an array, Ramo?
Yes, I did.
Oh, and you use getLine instead of CN.
Yeah, in case of they input like space within
Don't tell them, let them struggle. Struggle is part of the, we all have to go through the struggle of programming. Thank you. And if I may ask, Ramo, use functions.
Yes, I did.
Oh, excellent. There's Zane. I hope you're listening, Zane. So Ramo has used functions and he's used arrays. I'm not saying 1 or 2, but he used it. So there we go. Tinswalo, I hope you're listening to what Ramo has mentioned, that he had to use arrays and getLine, and he's almost done. So
yes,
well done.
I got it. Yeah.
Got it. Great. Thank you very much to everybody that joined us. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'll stay on for a little while if anybody still has a few questions. And obviously they won't be recorded, so that'll help. All right. Oh, there's someone got their video on. Maybe I'll put my video on too. Right? You want to put your video on and we'll take a class photograph? Huh? Anybody wants to put the video on? We'll take a class photo quickly. I do that with my full-time students as well. Oh, there's Ramo. Whoa, check it out. And peace to you too, Ramo. Yay. And there's Sanele. Hello, Sanele. Oh, that's great. And Tinswalo, do you want to put your, let me stop the recording. I forgot to stop the recording. Let's